Hello, I am Sheila.
Hi, I'm Jacqueline.
And we are with Blue Nest Home, and we are based out of Silverdale in Kitsap County. We service all of Kitsap County and the surrounding areas for home cleaning and organizing, online estate sales, move management, hoard clearing outing, anything having to do with cleaning and organizing, we can help you out with that, as well as move management, whether it is local, across state, or across country. We can help people out. And so our goal is to meet weekly and do these vlogs to kind of get our thoughts out.
Yeah.
So we can share with everybody else, because we love to bounce ideas off of each other and talk about different techniques and so forth. And we're hoping that it brings value to our viewers. And so I'm told, when you're doing on YouTube, you need to ask people to like and subscribe.
Oh, yeah.
So if you want to see more content, like and subscribe down below. All right, so we had kind of had a brainstorm about doing a course, and we've done a course before. And our current schedule didn't really allow for us to do like a really defined class course, so I think we're going to incorporate it into this. And so we really want to help people conquer their clutter and to reclaim your space, whatever that looks like. If you're surrounded by piles and stuff, you can conquer that. If maybe you're not surrounded by piles, but you open up your closet and it's full of stuff, and you want to attack that, because maybe it just doesn't bring you peace. When
Even
you
the
open
hidden
it.
clutter, it can weigh on your mind.
Or you're not able to find what you have and stuff. And so no matter where you are, you can start from wherever you are. And we're hoping that we can bring some information to help you live more mindfully about what you have in your home, and mindfully about what you purchase and bring into your home.
Yeah, moving forward. Yeah, I know. I feel like the cluttering part is one thing, but I think it's the skills, the planning ahead, because there's been a lot of times too we start and it's always questions about like what containers, what baskets, what this, what's that. And I think we were going to go into that too, was a lot of the TV shows and stuff. I think a lot of times they don't show the main decluttering part. They'll show like the organizing and the baskets, and I don't know if that always addresses the actual issue.
Right. There's a lot of shows right now, I know, on like Netflix.
Yeah, there's a lot.
And Hulu, where they show organizers going in and, well, there's two types, right? There's hoarders. Which my company, Blue Nest Home, we've actually have been on 3 episodes of hoarders. And so I'll touch base on that too.
Yeah.
And then also there's the shows where everybody goes in, and what's the names of them? I can't remember.
I'm trying to think. There is, I know even Marie Kondo had a show.
Yes.
There was a show, maybe it was just called Spark Joy. Yeah. And not knocking, a lot of them are really entertaining to watch, but I mean, if you're really struggling,
it can be overwhelming.
Comparing sometimes can be very overwhelming to these shows. I mean, they have a team and they have
so
editors and stuff.
When you are viewing something on TV, you're seeing what has been produced and what has been greatly edited. So I know for the show Hoarders, to get a 1-hour show, they are filming for three very long days. 3 full days, and it's edited down to show drama. And the highlights, and what you don't see is all the work going on behind the scenes. And so with the show Hoarders, and I can only speak from the experience that we had, is that some people say they're taking advantage of the people, but typically, so again, there's 2 different types of clients within the hoarders. There's the ones that seriously want help, and then there might be the ones that are scouted. But if they take full advantage of what the production company is offering them, they're getting $10,000, $20,000, $30,000 of assistance, at no cost to them. And so when you clear out a hoarded home, typically the cost can range anywhere from $30,000 to $50,000, and that a large portion of that is for waste management, to take away
right
the stuff. And in order to clean out even one section of a home in a matter of 3 days, you need a full team.
And a lot of times, like you said, like the waste management, and I think that sometimes maybe where people forget and don't really maybe budget that in, realizing that it,
And so you have the waste management, and then also with the show hoarders, they also get access to counseling, and so they do have a counselor right there on site, and I have seen the counselor step in and say, okay, we need to take a break.
I was going to take a break,
or we need to address this, and a lot of times that is off camera. The real work that you're seeing is off camera because
it's more probably private.
They do know that it is private.
Yeah, personal.
But at the end of the day, they do have a show to produce.
Right. That's interesting to hear that just for me.
Yeah, and so like what our job was when we went on was my team that went in there is they're doing the background work. So like the host of the show is talking them through the process, and then the counselor is there to make sure their well-being is being protected. And then in the background, the organizers, we're like, trying to get things organized and stuff. So we're not on camera a lot. So there's that feature. And then you have the ones where they come in and make everything beautiful and pretty.
I'm thinking of the rainbow colored. That was very popular recently, which again, really pretty, really interesting. I mean, I can really appreciate all of it, but I have never once. I don't know about you, but like that's never been a realistic situation. A couple times we maybe done a couple fun spots, but like you can't rainbow color your pantry and your fridge.
Well, you can, but it's not very.
Sustainable.
You're not going to be able to sustain it. Yeah. It's not real life.
Yeah.
And so, but no matter where you're starting, whether you're hoarding or if you just want to organize, your home right now,
being at home more.
Yeah. So do you want to kind of talk about like emotional clutter versus, what was your words for that?
Oh, yeah. So I think, again, why we're relating it to a lot of the shows, because a lot of that has been coming up. Oh, I watched the show. I was very inspired. And then when we get there, I think we were just like going to talk about that. We will address more of the emotional. It's, you don't always see that, or even maybe when you read it, maybe emotional stuff comes up. But there's also emotional, and then there can be really factual. So you could be working with somebody who's very, very emotional, and their spouse or significant other is very factual. They're like, I only want, 5 kitchen items, or like, and somebody's emotionally attached to things, you and I wouldn't think you could be emotionally attached to a KitchenAid, but it can happen. And so to have those two different, sometimes I just think, I don't exactly know what I'm getting at it, but like there can be really two different personalities in the same household trying to deal with clutter. So to really know and break it down, you go, am I more of an emotional or am I a factual numbers person? And I think starting with almost like identifying that can be very helpful for going through your items, especially in a household if there's other people living in there. You've always brought up inventory is kind of factual if you look at it that way, and emotional. It's just really helpful to know the difference if you are leaning towards one or the other. And
I think honoring whichever one it is.
And knowing that it's like, this is just me, it's okay, I'm emotional. Some people are just really emotional, but it's like, let's go through that. Let's like walk through that versus try to fight it.
Walk through it and kind of say, okay, what is the emotional basis of this item, and can you apply some factual stuff to it? And vice versa.
I was going to say vice versa.
If you have a spouse that's very factual, you haven't used that in 20 years.
Right.
And you're like, but my grandmother gave it to me.
Exactly,
Having the factual person honor the emotional ties to it.
And sometimes that can be good, because I've run into a couple situations where actually kind of going through the facts too and saying like, well, now I know your grandmother gave it to you, but they've upgraded versions of it, and like respecting it and honoring it, but knowing each end of it, I think it just makes it a lot easier versus trying to just one way or the highway kind of get through
there
some
is
of these.
No you can't apply the same techniques to every single situation.
Or even every kind of category sometimes. And actually some people can flip too and be like, I'm very factual when it comes to clothes, but then very emotional when it comes to books. So, trying to, before you start projects, I think there needs to be a lot of thinking, a lot of real talk, identifying with yourself, and honoring, like you said.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, okay, should we talk about setting goals going into that?
Yeah, actually, I was going to say that kind of runs right into, setting, customizing personal goals with those elements.
If you have somebody that just wants to get started,
okay,
where would you start?
I usually say the area where you walk in and you're like, like, you just want to go relax in this room. Or like, you're like, I want to go in the kitchen, but it's driving me nuts. But I mean, it's somewhere, if you're cooking and making meals, some people, like, it's not as big of, I didn't realize, I'm like, I love to cook and stuff, but some people are like, nah, I just kind of go and get my stuff and get out. But areas where you really want to enjoy and relax, but it's just like not enjoyable. I think that's, the smaller the better too. I think even if you say, I want to tackle my kitchen, start with one corner of a counter and a cabinet. One cupboard. One cupboard.
No, you're not gonna drag everything out of the kitchen.
No, I think that can be too much.
Very overwhelming.
Maybe a small desktop or something, you could do a whole top of it, but I think one little hot spot, usually I say, just start with one hot spot, like your little place you drop your keys, like maybe really clear that off and get that ready to go. But whole rooms can be, I don't know,
very overwhelming. And
one spot.
When I work with clients, I really like to be able to stand back at the end of a session and go, look at that.
Yes, and I keep saying, I know we try to, I think clients can get really nervous when we say photographs. It's like, we're not going to go post it on the website and in the windows. It's more for accountability to look back and forth. Even like say like a small shelf like this, you could take a picture, step back, look at it later, rearrange, declutter, and it's like those small wins that I think are really good. And it could just be, like I said, one little countertop in your kitchen where you're like, I just wish I could just have a little tea section here versus junk.
And you can do it. I think the misconception is that you need like a whole weekend or a whole week to do it. In reality, 5 minutes. If you've got 5 minutes, you can actually do a lot.
Yeah, I think
5 minutes.
If you say, I'm going to time myself 5 minutes, but start again with the realistic, like, I just, this is what I want, my little goal, like I just want this little corner cleared off. Know if you want to put stuff away, or if you're just like, I just kind of want to tidy, really get that talk going, and then set that timer. Because I don't like having to say, take a whole weekend and this and that. It's like,
that sounds fun.
No.
Sometimes you might be motivated to do that, and that's fine too.
Yeah.
But what we're saying is if you only have 5 minutes, take the 5 minutes and get started on it. So I'm going to run with your basket. Like if you have a spot where you throw your keys or your mail, and maybe it started out as a small basket and upgrade to a bigger basket, we all have those spots that collect stuff,
overflow.
Just take that basket and empty it out. Decide what's going to go in the basket. Is it going to be your keys? Is it going to be your mail? That's fine. Take everything out, put those items back in,
right?
And then with the other items, decide, do they go into another room?
Yeah.
Is it garbage?
Especially that kind of like situation, like seasonal. Is there gloves? Is there hats? Do they get put away?
Go put them in the closet or wherever you keep that stuff. Just get them out, and in 5 minutes you can have that accomplished, and it kind of shows, oh wow, I can do that.
Right.
And then once you get that done, if you have another 5 minutes, start on another area, or if you, the next day you're like, I'm going to do another 5 minutes.
Right.
Open up a cupboard If it's a small cupboard, you can take everything out, keeping what you want in that cupboard and moving the other stuff, either donating it, throwing it away, or moving it to a different part of the house.
Yeah, rehoming it. It's interesting because bringing that up, sometimes I think people realize, like, I'm thinking back, ow, I just hit myself. It's been a long week already. It's just Monday morning.
Monday morning.
The basket, I'm thinking, like, a lot of times we'll realize, oh, you know what, I don't even really want the mail here. I have a spot for that. You know, so sometimes just starting with, like you said, that 5-minute little spot can start to, I don't want to say trigger in a bad way, but start to get the wheels turning, like, I don't really use this, or, this has a home and everything. And
or it just collects junk, and I don't want that.
Yeah, I've noticed people go, I don't even want the whole basket there. And I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's always great when we're like, oh, all right, even better.
Yeah, I put a basket in my kitchen just to hold a couple of items that I need. So I have an old iPad that I need to take to, Walmart has the recycle old phones and stuff. And I want to recycle it and take it there. And I didn't want it flying around the kitchen. So I put that in there, and it has the charger and stuff. And I thought, well, that'll keep it contained. But you know what? It just, anything that I don't want to deal with is now going into that basket, and it needs to go. I just need to take the iPad in. So it happens to all of us. So don't worry about it.
I actually feel like I've been really, like, deep cleaning again, and we've been doing the consignments, and I like every month, I'm like, I already have a bag of stuff every time. I'm like, wow.
Yeah, and she's referring to the consignment sales. So if you do have items that you want to sell, sometimes we just have items where it's easier if you think you might be able to get a little bit of money out of it, and necessarily you don't want to donate it. We provide monthly consignment sales for anybody who wants to bring those in. So we have 1 week out of the month where you can bring those in, and I'll try to post down below the schedule for that, so you can bring that stuff in.
That's a nice option too.
But I was just thinking too, when we're helping somebody, like, pack up and stuff, so one of the tricks that we do when we've emptied out a cupboard or something is to put a Postit note on it that says done, or a piece of tape that says done, because what happens, you keep opening it, right? Is it done?
Yeah.
Is it done? Even if you know that you've done it, like, there's something in our head, I gotta double check. I gotta double check, you know?
Yeah.
And so then, especially if we're working with a team, then somebody else comes in. Is it done?
Oh my gosh, and then you waste time going around and around. Yeah.
And
well, you always check at the very end, but that prevents a lot of
opening and reopening.
Yeah.
And so if you're going through your kitchen, maybe if you've done a cupboard already, put a Postit note on it that says done, and make it your goal to go around, or put a Postit note on each cabinet, and as you empty it and organize it, take the Postit note off. Whatever triggers you.
Yeah, to kind of that completion feeling, this little project is done and complete. The visuals can be very helpful, like a Postit, or some people really like to make that check on a list, like, and cross it off.
What about labeling?
Oh, gosh.
What's your thoughts on labeling?
That's an interesting one. I was thinking of another thing, too. Labels, I go back and forth with that. It's, again, you have to know I feel like your personality. Like, could it be, even a label be too cluttering for you? But in some situations, I think for certain family members, if they're really just struggling, not knowing where things are, maybe behind, like, a closed cabinet, I think the open with the label sometimes can be very distracting for people. But it's got to come down to your system again. It's got to be the system that works. It's got to be cleared out. Because you could have every basket labeled, and they could still be overflowing. And popping out with...
Really reduce your inventory. But I think...
or bigger categories than the smaller ones is my big thing.
I do like labels in the kitchen, especially if there are multiple people living in the household.
I was going to say...
Because it does help people put things away. There's more likelihood of somebody putting something away if they know
and for
where
like younger
goes.
Kids. Like, there's a lot of younger kids, and you're trying to get them to...
empty the dishwasher and put it away.
Yeah.
It also helps with reading if they're young.
Oh, yeah. I've seen that too.
To read things. So I think that's helpful, but I think sometimes, we get hung up on the Pinterest.
I guess I think it's maybe the micromanaging of the labels is what I'm thinking. Like, just like you said, cups. Doesn't have to be, 8 glass cup mugs.
It does not have to be a label maker. Mm-hmm. You don't have to order the labels from Etsy.
Postit or paper.
You don't have to do them on your Cricut, which I love Cricut, and I
can really appreciate a Cricut.
But Post-it notes work really well.
Just like you said, even just to start, like maybe learning the dishes for kids or something. But we've run into a couple times, like with filing papers, December taxes, November, and it's like just taxes 2019. That's it. Just one label,
utilities.
Yes,
you don't need phone.
Yeah.
What else? Electricity, gas.
Yeah,
you don't need a file for
at that point, and you can really do that. But I think at the beginning, broad labels is a big thing.
I think we're getting like way too far in on the process. So okay. So
that was a big overall. We can break that.
We're going to bring it back.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
and we're going to talk about
here
setting your personal goals and customizing a personal plan.
Yeah, we can really break that down. Well, actually, we can also say some of the questionnaires that we do that you can at home ask yourself.
Yeah, we'll put those down below.
Or between a spouse or something, you can ask the questions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you want to see the questionnaires and stuff that we work with, like it and put a comment down below, and we'll add that for you. But so I think I just listened to a book this morning.
Oh, nice.
On the one. I love listening to business books, and it's just my jam. It gets me.
I was going to say that.
So I'm listening to The One.
The One.
And it talks about, setting one goal, and you work on that every day.
Okay. I was going to say this rings a bell. Okay.
And the chapter that I was listening to today was talking about breaking down that goal. And so I'm going to apply it in this situation because it's on the top of my head. So let's say setting your personal goal. And let's say your personal goal is to organize your kitchen. But you can organize, fill in the blank, whatever that is. Write that down. That is your goal. Okay? And so now state, when do you want that goal completed?
That's nice. I like that.
Do you want it done by the end of the month? Next year? It's really whatever you want it to be. If you want it done by tomorrow, you can do that, but you're going to need more than 5 minutes.
You're going to need snacks.
So think, when could you realistically think that you can get that goal done, or when you want to have it done? And then what do you have to do this month to get to that goal?
Yeah.
So do you need to go through and take out all the food that is expired? Do you need to take out all the dishes you don't use anymore? Kind of break down that goal and think about, okay, what do I need to do within the next month or next week?
Right. To, before you even start the venture.
Yeah.
Really, break it down. Because sometimes it's like, I think we think, we're going to, this back to the show is like, we clear out and it's like, well, where are you going to put it? Are you going to run it to a place, a donation or charity or consignment?
It all takes time.
It takes time. It takes planning. Like sometimes it's nice to have empty recycling bins ready. Sometimes,
boxes,
sometimes we don't even have that. We have nowhere to even put trash.
Yeah. So then you break down.
Lots of prepping.
You have what you need to do this week. Now think about what you need to do each day.
Yeah.
So is it working 1 hour? Could it be working 20 minutes? And then break that down even more. What do I need to do today?
Yeah, and within that 1 hour, you're saying? Yeah, that's so really helpful.
You can break it down and kind of see, okay, in order to achieve the goal that I want to accomplish in 1 month, I need to break it down to what do I do each week?
Yep.
Down to what do I do to each day? And what do I do right now?
Yeah,
and so,
that's helpful.
And then breaking it down even more, if it's a true goal you want to reach, you need to schedule for it.
Oh, absolutely.
So
mark it, clear it off, and if you got to change it, you got to change it, or if you got to condense it or something. But it's good to have it blocked off.
Yeah, and I think that's what we hear a lot with organizing with our clients is they'll say, why did I have to pay you to come help me do this? And a lot of it is that time blocking, right?
Yeah.
They know that
we'll be there at the appointment, you know.
And it's a forced.
Yeah.
It's a forced, what am I trying to say? Focus?
Yeah.
Forced focus.
On that specific time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so break it down. Okay, what do I need to do today? What time am I going to do it? And sandwich it in between some. Instead of saying, I'm going to spend 10 minutes focusing on this area, you need to decide what 10 minutes.
Yeah. Which ones? When? Yeah.
And so
again,
I know
realistically, maybe not right before bed when you're tired, you know.
Right.
That 10
or
minutes
if you are doing it before bed, you sandwich it. So I'm going to do the 10 minutes in between when I shut off the TV and before
I head upstairs. Yeah.
Or
I'll do that sometimes, actually. It's like small little things. Like I'm going to do that one thing in between these two things, and that's very helpful.
Yeah, because so what it does is it triggers your mind.
Yeah.
As, oh, I said, and it helps if you write it down too, I said that after I shut off the TV and before I go upstairs, I'm going to spend 10 minutes focusing on XYZ. Yeah. Whatever it was.
It's interesting you said that because I've noticed, like, because I feel like there is a lot of times a lot of little things to get done, and then that's when you get overwhelmed. So you're like, I'll just throw this little 10-minute chunk
Just 10 minutes.
Yeah. Yeah.
And when you sandwich that, so one, you've told your brain, because your brain believes what you tell it. So the more you say something, the more it becomes factual. So if you just take a few minutes to write it down and say, after I shut off the TV and before I go upstairs to bed, I'm going to go through one drawer.
Yeah.
I'm going to go through the silverware drawer. Or I'm going to go through my mail, whatever it is.
Yeah.
And then give yourself a limit of 10 minutes or whatever it is that you have set it out to be. And then just focus on that, because now you know I have a defined start time and I have a defined end time.
And you know, I think a lot of times we'll get the question, like, they'll look back and go, oh, I didn't even make a dent. You always usually do make a dent. It's just, you know, sometimes it can be small, but making a dent is better than none. Yeah,
and you can completely go through your house by doing 10-minute increments.
It's wild. It really is.
And if you want to focus on, 10 minutes in the evening, 10 minutes in the morning, you can do that too. But I think when you're setting your goals, if it's something that you're struggling with, give yourself like that first week to say just 10 minutes a day. Yeah, because you're going to you're going to see those little things, and it's going to add up to big victories.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh, that's me. Who's calling me? Don't think, spam.
Don't they know I'm live?
So, and as I'm looking, that was great timing on that.
I was just going to say, I was looking at the time too. Yeah.
So I think sit down and think about what your decluttering goals are.
I think that's the start. Just your goals. Start thinking about it. And don't give yourself a hard time. Like, it really is goal setting. Like, even when we go to clients' house, we go through things. We look at pictures. We break down. We make a plan. So it's not like we're just winging it.
Yeah, we don't just
really think through it and think, okay, maybe what's the issue? Maybe their garbage is too small, or their systems are just too complicated. So it's this planning and thinking.
Break
involved.
It down and make it simple.
Yeah.
And make it achievable.
Yeah.
And then build on that.
Yeah. I love it. I think that's great.
Yeah. So if you have any questions or thoughts, we would love to hear them. Love to hear them. Like and subscribe.
Yeah.
Leave your comments down below, and we will answer them. And we hope you have a great week.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.